Welcome to Seen This. I am the movie Mamba Michael Ornelas, and see Tom run. That's not what I wrote down on the doc, but it's like see Spot run, see Tom run. It's okay. Anyways, we'll move on. Joining me is the feisty Pisces, Erica McMullen.
Where do I know that person from?
And the I almost did it again. The Gerber baby-faced assassin, Adrian Cedeno.
Mission Possible?
It just may be. That's all in reference to the movie we're reviewing today, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Just before we get started, we'll dive into what we've seen this week. I know we were off last week, weren't really in the right headspace to record, considering authoritarianism taking over this country. Very nice hat there, Adrian. But hopefully you get a chance to check out, or if you haven't already, check out our episode we did before this. Just did a little quick ISO video just addressing that because we wanted to give a video and kind of our thoughts. I know Adrian and Erica haven't necessarily seen what I said yet, but I'm going to assume it's in good faith that we're on relatively the same page. We can wait for the next episode in case you guys have any pushback, but I think we're pretty aligned there. Outside of seeing the country burn, what have you guys seen this week? Let's start with Adrian.
So I was firsthand watching LA burn, driving through downtown.
You had to work through LA? You had to work,
yeah.
Drive through LA, right?
Yeah. But I also got to watch the Phoenician Scheme, or at least a majority of it. Before.
That's Wes Anderson's new movie.
Right. So I didn't get to finish the whole thing, but I do want to go back, revisit it, and watch the whole thing. But
Adrian, let's cut the bullshit. Tell us what you were saying before we started recording. You said what about this movie?
I'm really trying to enjoy it. I'm like trying to get it, and I just wasn't getting it. I just wasn't understanding like the whole, I don't know, the plot, the whole dynamic that Wes Anderson brings to like the. I'm assuming this is what he does all the time.
Have you not seen any Wes Anderson before?
I feel like I have. But I'm not like I don't really pay attention to the directors and stuff like that until now. It's never been something that I fully paid attention.
When you see a Wes Anderson film, you're like, this is a Wes Anderson film.
Did he do like the Fantastic Mr. Fox or something? Because it has that same kind of vibe and feel to it, except with real people.
So just imagine all of his movies like that, but just in a different setting, but same color, same theme, same
artwork, same
acting styles.
I didn't like that Fantastic Mr. Fox either, and that's what it felt like. It feels like that, but with real people.
Yeah. I gave Wes a lot of tries. Like I've probably seen the majority of his catalog, just really wanting it to be like good or different. But he's staying in this lane, which some people love. But
someone on Threads the other day said the best Wes Anderson movie is Jojo Rabbit, and he didn't even do that movie.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I like that movie though.
That one had some darkness to it for sure.
But it also had some comedy and like a good point.
Satire.
Yeah. Okay, so Phoenician Scheme, Adrian's outing himself that he only saw it 3/4 of the way, which means he didn't see it at the theater, but we don't judge here. Whatever. At this rate, we all got to be pirates. Erica, what have you seen this week?
Yeah, I actually watched Hot Fuzz yesterday.
Hot Fuzz,
right
one
now
of your favorites.
we're obviously not sponsored or anything, but on Peacock right now, they have Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End on there. Everybody, I've talked about him plenty of times. Everybody knows how much I love Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. And which is nice as he is in the Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, he is.
Cool to see where he like really started off. Like even before Shaun of the Dead, I had watched a lot of his like TV and like YouTube channel stuff. But seeing him all the way from Shaun of the Dead and then to see him now where he is, it's really, really fun to watch.
Come so far. Shout out to our old pod 6 Degrees. Do you guys ever watch something and then unintentionally see someone from that movie in the next movie you watch? And have you ever put together like a good streak of movies doing that, you know? Like maybe that same
Yeah.
person isn't in the same 3 movies, but like someone's in, oh, I just watched him in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've noticed that a little bit more now than I did maybe a while ago.
You probably
And I
have a
think
bigger range of actors you
yeah,
recognize too. Yeah.
definitely bigger range of actors to
Yeah, yeah.
through.
I always think that's the universe communicating, saying you're watching the right movies because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Uh, what I've seen this week, I went to Florida for the wedding I mentioned before, Brian and Ellen, shout out, now Mr. and Mrs. But on that flight, the Portland airport has a Hollywood theater from the same Hollywood theater I go to movies out here, and it supports like local artists, filmmakers, and their films are up there. So I sat down and watched this movie called Mall Town, and it essentially looks at the Lloyd Center, which was, you know, back in the day built as like this up and coming mall, and this is where, you know, you want to come do all your shopping. Very historic mid-century mall here in Portland, Oregon. But it documents how it's now become like a ghost town, like completely empty. You know, the culture of mall life has really kind of died in the turn of the century.
Mhm.
um but it touches on this like rejuvenation where independent shops, they had like a disco skate night in there where they went in roller skating in the mall. Like
That
just a lot of cool artistic different things that they're bringing into this mall. And it was really cool documentary, you know, a local documentary about Portland. So I'm kind of intrigued to look into it, see what kind of events they might be having over there. And even though it was, you go to Letterbox, shout out Paula Bernstein directed it. I think there's like a total of I wonder if I could see how many people have actually reviewed it, but there's a total of like, I don't know, maybe like 5 reviews on it. So very low visibility there, but super cool. Shout out. Great job on that documentary. Let's get into Mission Impossible Final Reckoning.
Have you seen this?
Have you seen this?
Have you seen this?
I know, I've seen this. I know this.
So high level, I think we all saw this a couple weeks ago now, earlier when it first came out. So hopefully our minds are sharp. Remember beat for beat what happens. But Erica, maybe you start us off. What did you think of the latest and maybe final Mission Impossible?
I mean, yeah, I went to go watch a Mission Impossible movie. I got exactly I think I forget what other movie we were talking about, but I got exactly what I thought I was going into the movie for. Got a bunch of action, bunch of new cool shit that Tom Cruise wants to do on his own, like plot wise, bad guy, good guy, plot twist, maybe a secret bad guy, very, very typical action star movie kind of thing going on.
Well, did you enjoy it? Were you disappointed?
Not that I was disappointed, but like how many more times, like, you know what I mean? You're really just going to see what Tom Cruise is gonna do next. Like he's like a superhero, superstar celebrity. So
Yeah.
Mission Impossible is not my first go-to if I'm going to any kind of action film. I'd rather go see a 007 film, 100% hands down. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, for what it was. It was okay.
Okay. Fair enough. Adrian, what are your overall thoughts?
Um, so I've watched the first one, maybe parts of the second. It was really nostalgic. I remember watching it like when I was a kid with my aunt and uncle. Um, and so like I do remember Mission Impossible, but I didn't keep up. I didn't follow every like. This is what Final Reckoning was like 8, 9,
Yeah, I think
10.
it's like
8.
number 8.
I
Yeah.
think
So
it's 8.
so I haven't watched a big chunk of it. And I enjoyed it. I never really felt lost. I think they did a good way of like tying the first ones together and like paying homage with like previous clips and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. Again, like Erica said, it's you know what you're going in for. My expectations weren't high. Um, it was just about going and having a fun time and just watching and see what craziness they're gonna have. But the plot, you know, there's gonna be little teasers here and there that foreshadow everything that happens at the end, or other than that, it was fun.
Don't let Erica pull you down, man. I see in your eyes you had a good time with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
I'm
Yeah.
enjoyed
not
it.
saying
Like,
I didn't have a good time. It's just like, okay. Like I
Sure.
got what I went to the movie for. You know what I mean? Like,
That you got your money's worth. Is that safe to say?
I mean, I went to the $5 Thursday. Come
Yeah.
on, buddy.
So
Like,
abs-
these are tough times for people. We do $5 movies around
indeed,
here.
indeed, $5 specials or your local theater. That's the way to go.
And I'm
yeah,
supporting my
for
local
sure.
theater, so.
100%.
It's
I'll
a cool
promote
theater
that all the
too.
time.
Mhm.
You went there too. You guys go together?
No, we didn't.
No, wait, he ended up going, like, I forget what movie it was, but
Yeah,
I told him,
it's
I was like, "There's
Warfare.
$5, this is the theater," and they had,
Oh,
like,
I
gone
see.
the day before I went or something like
How
that.
funny. How funny.
Yeah.
Well, for my thoughts, I'm going to actually bring in my guest early here because I think it's a good way to launch off exactly what I thought about this movie. And Erica, you'll appreciate this one. It's
No,
from
I'm
your
trying to figure out, like, what quote you're gonna do.
it's from your
Favorite movie, I
favorite
can quote
movie.
every sentence
I
of
wonder
this
if our
movie.
fans listen enough to know what your favorite movie is at this point because you
I know,
mentioned it a
right?
few times. But this is Samuel Jackson
Oh, okay.
in
I know what you're going
in
with.
Jurassic Park.
Hold on to your butt.
There you go. Hold on to your butts. Tom Cruise is back.
You wanna
And
know what's crazy about Hold On to Your Butts? He says it in about, I wanna say 6 of his films, and
oh, really? I think I've heard of something
I
like that.
didn't really catch on to it until I was watching, Skull Island, and he says
does
it
say
in
it
there,
there.
and I was like, "This motherfucker, is he saying this in all his movies? That's my favorite line."
He's been in so many movies. He for my letterbox, it keeps stats of like your most watched actor, and he is far and beyond reachable
Yeah.
in first place because of the franchises he's been
Well,
in. And
I think we talked about it where I had told you I saw some guy who's like, if you only had to watch one actor, like you can
right,
only watch their catalog, and he's like, you pick Samuel L. Jackson because of how much shit he's done. You get Star Wars, you get Jurassic Park, you get Marvel, you get a bunch of stuff to watch him in.
so Samuel Jackson, and again, this is like of the movies I remember watching, just everything I've logged, archived, whatever. I've seen 37 of his films. So that's the most watched
crazy.
actor. Second place with 26 films. Who would you guess? I don't think you would guess, but my second most watched actor.
Salma Hayek.
I wish. I wish. I wish.
I don't know. That's a good one.
Tom Hanks. Tom
I would
Hanks.
have never guessed
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, he just you got to think of like how many movies he's been
Yeah,
in that
he's
are like
been around for a
classics
while.
and like all the Toy Stories and whatever. But that's 11 films less than Samuel Jackson. Anyways,
yeah, 2 deep dives into 2 actors who aren't in the movie we're talking about tonight.
yeah. But hold on to your butts. I had a really good time with this movie. I think we're all on the same page that we haven't seen every Mission Impossible. Like Adrian, I saw the first, second, third, and then I think the one with Superman, Henry Cavill. I think that's 4 or 5. Anyways, people know.
I think that's 5.
Yeah, I'd seen those. I'd seen most of them, but I didn't see the one before this one, which I was thinking like, oh shit, like this is like a part 2 to the previous Mission Impossible. So when I watched it, like Adrian said, they do a good job of kind of like montaging, tying together the previous movies to get you up to speed to this movie.
Yeah.
And because it did that, it helped, and I'm also loosely tied to like the overall plot line, right?
Yeah.
Because this movie has been out for some time, I have heard some people that have watched every Mission Impossible have a really hard time with this plot and with some of the motivations and like why certain people are or aren't in this movie, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you are really deep into the Mission Impossible movies, you might have a harder time with like the coherency between all the movies. But
You mean the cohesiveness?
Cohesiveness, yes. And coherent doesn't work?
Not regarding to how you're using it now.
Excellent. Erica's grammar corner
Sorry.
added to the agenda. We got
I've
science
been
and we got
writing
Science
grammar.
essays
and grammar. Yeah, there you go.
I've
We
been
got it.
writing essays all week for finals. So I'm like grammared out right now, but letting you know.
Are you still got? I thought you how'd your final on Monday
So I
go?
had like my
Good?
written finals, and then I had a final yesterday that I did, and then I have one tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday.
We crushed the ones we did. How we feeling?
We're
Good.
hoping for A's.
All right. Well, stay
We're right
tuned.
there.
Stay tuned on your progress report.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think this is fun. Like you said, and like you said, Erica, that's really what kind of crazy shit is Tom gonna do?
Which is fun, you
Which is
know. It's
fun.
really cool to see, despite how you feel about him, how I feel about him, you know.
Wait, let's expand on that. Like, what's your relationship with Tom Cruise?
Oh no, I just refuse to be fans of anybody who's a Scientologist.
Okay, so fan meaning like outwardly like and seek out their movies.
Just as a human, don't like him.
Right. Does that have a bearing on him as an actor? To
I
you?
mean, yeah, all of that
Yeah.
does. I mean, for me, like, I get where people are like, well, separate the art from the artist, and it's like you really can't when like they're using their art and the money they make to then put that into, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Can I divert into a quick debate here? Because I understand and agree with what you're saying.
Sure.
And Adrian, feel free to chime in.
I'm on the other side of you guys.
Well, this is what I'm saying is like with Scientology, I think it's a little bit more slippery as far as like it's a belief or like I guess you could call it a religion or cult, whatever you want to call it, whatever
you really want to
call it.
look down at the nitty gritty and all of it, it's not.
I mean,
So
you could, yeah, let's say a cult. Like benefit of the doubt, let's say a cult. Is that different than, let's say, like someone that has, you know, like a Kevin Spacey that just clearly has done some physically?
I will not watch anything. When I learn that about him, I won't watch anything with him in it anymore.
But you're equating that in the same way, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
the same way. Like if I just dislike you as a human, I'd rather not support you if I can. I mean, it's probably insignificant, you know what I mean? But
okay, that's fair.
Personally,
that's fair.
you know.
Okay.
I sacrificed a little bit for this movie review, but that's okay.
We appreciate it.
I was curious still.
Well, we appreciate it. We'll have to keep a list on who's on your Erica's canceled list.
I get it, that cancel culture. I just don't agree with it because there's more that goes into it. And I don't think it's as easy as just, I don't want to support that person, because it's not just one person that goes into making a film, especially. So I have a hard time trying to, hey, I'm not going to watch it because of Tom Cruise, because he's a Scientologist, but the other 100 people that were a part of it may not be, and I'm holding them accountable because of him. I don't like that. And that's why I have a problem with like the cancel culture, because it affects more than just the person that's a dirtbag or a douche or whatever. It affects many more people that are a part of it.
But then you have to go on the other side and said they're willing to work with somebody who's a dirtbag.
Or they didn't know.
Not saying that, and I'm
how
not
many
saying
times
that everybody thinks that way about Tom Cruise. I'm not in the way saying that, because from what I understand in Hollywood, a lot of people feel that he's a good person. They might not believe like his beliefs, and that way, like you said, people are able to work with him and look past that and stuff like that. But in the same breath, there's the opposite side of that, is like, okay, but if there's people who don't think he's a very good person but work with him anyway, where do you stand on your own morals? That's all I'm saying, really, is just
yeah. I mean,
Scientology and how it abuses its peoples and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a slippery slope, right? Because in any industry, you can work for a company or with people that are horrid. You know what I mean? So like to just single out artists or whatever, and like, oh well, they have to make a living too. So like, I completely understand both sides of that. I am a big fan of Tom as an actor and his movies.
The actors and actresses really don't have to work to make a living if they just lived within their means and made $1 million and then fucked off the rest of their life.
But
they can do their 1 or 2 movies and call it good.
Yeah.
I was referring more to like the crew,
Yeah, no, 100%. Like and that's that's the hard part, right? Because especially on a special effects film like this,
Sure.
there is so much detail that goes in. And I know that we're always really good about shouting out like a special effects team, makeup artists and stuff. They really are the unsung heroes of filmmaking. Like they really
Yeah.
help put all of that together.
And now that like stunt work is being recognized by the Academy and being eligible for an Oscar, right? Like,
Have you seen that one interview with Matt Damon where he was telling the interviewer about a conversation he had with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is telling him, he's like, okay, well, what do you do if your stunt guy tells you that you can't do this? He's like, well, and Matt Damon's like, well, I listened to him. And Tom Cruise is like, no, you fire that guy. You get a different stunt guy.
Yeah, it's a paraphrase where like he was asking like, how do we do the specific stunt? He's like, we can't, so I got a new stunt.
So I got a new stunt guy.
Yeah.
So I just saw a old clip on YouTube too, and it was pretty good. It was Ben Stiller as Tom Cruise's stunt double, and his name is Tom Cruise, spelled Crooze. And it's just like them doing like a whole buddy like skit. It's so funny. Like,
I think that was the MTV Movie Awards, if I'm not
something
mistaken.
like that.
I think it was, yeah.
Bit. I mean, there's times I see Ben or Tom, and I like totally see that.
Yeah,
like they do look similar, especially.
They've got and similar actions and some of their mannerisms and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, back to the movie really quick. I didn't, or maybe not really quick. Maybe we should get on the rails here. What I wanted to do, which I always forget to do, is give you the letterbox description, so then we clearly understand the premise of the movie.
Okay, while you're looking that up, I gotta get water really quick. I'm dying.
Do it. No problem here.
So I got it on deck because I stay prepared, Mikey.
Oh, Adrian, you know what? This is a great time in our podcast history. From now on, Adrian will be reading our letterbox description. So, Adrian,
I like that.
Give us our letterbox description. Yeah. Hey.
All right.
So closed mouths, give that to me.
closed mouths don't get fed. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
All right. So, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 2025, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Our lives are the sum of our choices. Ethan Hunt and team continue their search for the terrifying AI known as the Entity, which has infiltrated intelligence networks all over the globe, with the world's governments and a mysterious ghost from Hunt's past on their trail. Joined by new allies and armed with the means to shut the Entity down for good, Hunt is in a race against time to prevent the world as we know it from changing forever.
Forever. You're hired, Adrian. Well done. You're hired. Well, we gave our overall thoughts on the movie. Let's jump into spoilers so we can talk a little bit more freely.
Spoiler alert.
The AI entity that you're talking about was kind of originated in the previous movie, Dead Reckoning. And it essentially controls and manipulates everything. It's kind of what we're dealing with AI now, right?
Starlink, yeah.
Deep fakes, voice manipulation, and kind of just controlling all of the governments and
Siri.
nukes. It's Siri, it's OpenAI, it's all the various options. I mean, it's crazy how many AI options we have.
Which, by the way, since we're talking about AI, have you guys seen that Timbaland thing? He has an AI artist that he's trying to publish and like get out as an artist for hip hop and all this stuff. There was a giant debate he held on Instagram, and like people were coming after him, like, you can't be doing this. Like, you're ripping off all these artists and stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's tough because like, you know, you get all of this AI generated art. Well, all of that artwork has to come from somewhere, right? So like it essentially is taking others' ideas and then just manipulating it AI wise, and then you have this new artwork, and then you don't have to pay AI. You can just, you know, generate your image. And so it's hard. And I think people get on him because it's like another artist who's not, you know, promoting an artist but an AI kind of thing. So where does the line?
I think like with a lot of things with technology, there's no like real regulation as far as like
There never is.
how
Yeah, they kind of just
things
like
are getting
shoot first
sourced.
and hope for the best.
Yeah, and then the creatives or innocent bystanders end up being the victims of like theft of creative ideas or copyright or whatever the case may
But
be.
then where
Yeah.
does regulation become like censorship? And you know what I mean? Like it's just it's tough. I don't know.
I
And
know,
the
Like,
but
do we really want another entity regulating something? Do you really need regulation? Like,
the
regulation
problem
hasn't gotten this
is
well, you
country
know,
very like I
the
don't know
problem is that we've already created AI.
mhm.
So there's really
without the
no going
regulation.
back. Yeah.
I as someone who has worked in content moderation for a tech company, I'm sure you guys could find it if you want to do that research. But like you, if you unleash some form of communication with no policy or no safety guidelines, it's a free for all of what it can become. Now the thing is, if you don't care and your mission statement is to just have a free for all anarchist line of communication, sure. But each company, and that would go the same for like AI companies, should have policies in place with safety in mind. You know what I mean? Especially if there's nothing law related to these various things, right? So, like, for example, Adrian, if I wanted to go and tweet your social security number, is that censorship if I don't get to do it, or is it free speech? You know, if
Right.
I take a picture of you in your pink Speedo that you don't want out there and I put it on the internet, is that free speech or is it so? Like that debate is always going to be there, and I think
I
we
mean,
just have
as
to
long
have a
as you cut me in on that OnlyFans, I'm good.
well, that comes back to regulation. That comes back to the regulation, right? It's like,
But
okay, if you're
that's a
going to take my
regulation,
art,
right? That you would
yeah,
get some form of profit from that. That's still some kind of guide, at least some kind of guideline for somebody to follow. You know what I mean?
you can't
So I
tell
think
politics is on our
I think
mind
that's
here.
where it all lies. The problem is that somebody's profiting from that. If nobody was
Yeah.
profiting from this art or this creation, nobody really care. But the problem is it's you're profiting from it or you're affecting somebody else's profit because of it.
So, like, in that sense, right? If he's, wanting to use AI for that, does he now owe the AI company that created the AI money and royalties from whatever he creates and sells?
Right, right,
It's a very, very fine line.
yeah,
But
yep,
that's the
Yeah.
whole
yep.
point of the movie too, right? Is like this AI is out of control. Like
Yeah.
there is a fine line in everything, and I'm sure it's happening here. Terminator, it's happened in every movie that we've seen predicting AI, and now AI is here, and people are like, we're just gonna let it happen.
So for the movie, I think if you can't tell, we're very charged up about fucking political
AI.
aspects, AI, how to do things the right way. But I think with this specifically, like Erica said earlier, it's really to see what Tom's going to do in these stunts, right? The plot is this AI has taken over.
Pretty
It's
cool
out of
stunts.
control. Very cool
I
stunts.
was impressed.
Maybe we can touch on some of those. Which one stuck uh, out to you the most as most entertaining?
I don't know about most entertaining, but in my head, like the most difficult ones, in my opinion, were the most impressive. Like to see
Okay.
him tuck into water like that and on the hanging off the
So just to
plane. I
get
mean, we know he's hung off planes before, but I swear, seeing him hang off the plane every time, it's just like, fuck, like he's actually doing that. Like that's actually Tom fucking Cruise right now.
so to set premise, he has to go into this sunken submarine to essentially get a key which he needs to access the AI's fucking mainframe and destroy it, whatever the MacGuffin is. But he actually submerges into the submarine, which is, and here's water pressure time for you, Erica, which within the submarine is actually it's not filled with water inside at first.
Certain
And he
parts,
gets in
right,
certain parts, and
are
then when he
still
gets in,
pressurized.
he's navigating it. He passes by like these huge torpedoes that are on the sub. Um, ultimately gets to where the key's at, but now the submarine is rolling off the fucking ledge that it's on under the water.
Trench, yeah.
The trench, which is
Yeah.
like the depths of the
The
sea.
drop off. Have you
Uh,
seen
it's-
Finding Nemo? It's the drop off.
Don't touch the butt. when that whole sequence took place, I would actually say that was the most like anxiety, like action packed scene in the movie because
That's what makes it so impressive
yeah,
because that in general is just incredibly hard, I'm sure, to film and I'm sure to just do in
right.
general.
To do
And
safely. Because I'm sure it was
and
easy to do, but to do it safely where nobody's getting hurt, because he's really getting hit by these things. Like, I'm sure these things are really falling on him. And even though
Knowing
they're
Tom,
not
he's like, "Hit me
legit,
full force.
yeah,
Wait, underwater, let's go."
even though they're not like, 2-ton missiles, like it's styrofoam, like it's probably still probably weighs a few 100 pounds. You know what I mean? It's still
that's
coming at
heavy
him.
styrofoam. I don't
Dude,
know
then
about the physics behind that.
it can't be
Soaked
just styrofoam and water,
styrofoam.
It had to have some kind of weight.
Yeah, just the fact that he was in these shots, you have to consider everything he said, the safety. He's holding his breath, and then within that whole sequence, it's like a hat on a hat. Like it gets more harrowing,
Yeah,
more
progressively
risky,
worse and worse.
progressively worse as all the shit's happening. The ship's tumbling toward the trench, gets out, and in my mind, I'm always like, okay, how would this actually work? The propeller barely misses him, and in
It
my
like
head,
spits him out to the side.
and in my head, if the submarine is falling like that, Erica, here we go. Here's your chance. If the submarine's falling like that and you're swimming up, isn't that force going to bring you back down? You know what I mean? Like if we want to get
It
about it.
I don't think
so
so. Because it's about displacement, and I don't think it's displacing the water because it's already occupying that. It's
you have
moving.
to
It shouldn't be
remember
pulling
that
water with it, It's not like creating a cavity with water coming down. So there's nothing like to pull that. Like think
yeah,
about
that in so many words, yes, that is how it happened.
All
I'm
right.
like
Well,
I'm
trying, like, I don't
smart.
really want to like tell you, but
I'm
yeah.
educated.
let us know in the comments if we got that right to all the scientists out there.
So
But
like what Adrian's saying is like if it was pressurized and there was water that was like pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, like that would limit
Yes.
that. But since there's water already in it,
like if the
essentially,
the Titanic is sinking, and if you're right above it as it sinks, that has no
okay, but
impact to you.
Titanic is different because it
Because it was
wasn't
filling with
completely
water
filled.
as
It
it's
was
sinking.
filling with water. It wasn't completely filled with water by the time it is.
See,
So
I just want
essentially,
to
the
get us
pressure
there.
on the outside of the submarine and the pressure on the inside of the submarine are the same thing.
Insert the calculating meme. Yeah. Makes sense. Checks out.
Just put the little triangles and shit around
Yeah,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah.
That's
From Hangover. Yeah, just calculating everything. So yeah, I thought that was the most harrowing. I think also the big one was the biplanes. He's on not just one plane, but maneuvering
yeah.
Onto the
around the
next
plane.
one.
The other gets 0 G in the way that they're turning and is literally just floating. Now, in my head, when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, that's where he's like clearly on wires and they're manipulating that. But upon listening to these interviews, he made sure these pilots who said he was crazy, I want to be in 0 G when this is happening. So I'm just floating in place. And they fucking did it. How fucking crazy is
They're
that?
like, okay, Tom Cruise, whatever you say.
Like, just
Just
insane.
sign here that we're not liable if something were
Yeah.
to happen, and then we're good.
And I did appreciate, though he was, from what I understand in the last one, S.A. Morales, my boy from La Bamba, being in this movie as the villain, or kind of the
I
pseudo
know,
villain.
but like, okay, so
Was
do
that
you
Gabriel?
understand my beginning quote now? I'm like, where do I know that person from? Literally the entire friggin' movie. I was like, hold on a second.
It's Bob from La Bamba. Yeah, yeah. I love he's great. I wish he had a bigger career because I think he's a good actor and he has a certain look to him that is he's a handsome man, he's a mysterious man. I hope we get to see more of him. I don't know, maybe
I
we'll
feel
take
like
him
he
in the
should have been the
draft.
Dos Equis guy.
He could
He
have
would have been a
been.
good. He would have been a good Dos Equis guy.
That's a good call. I agree. He would be really good.
We'll
But
second that. How do we get that going? Let's campaign for him to be the Dos Equis guy.
well, they haven't had like the most interesting. I feel like they moved away from that campaign.
No, but we could be like the second most interesting.
Bring it back.
Like, you
He
know, they
doesn't
could
die
like
in
make
every
it a
movie,
running joke. They really
but when he
could.
does, I
It
like
makes
it.
it memorable. Yeah, his end is
His was
pretty
memorable.
like memorable and comical. Like coming off
So
the plane,
it,
just fucking.
I instantly went to Sideshow Bob and The Simpsons. Like
Sure.
instantly went there, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
That's
so
Is
fair.
this
good.
that's where they got the inspiration.
I
Tom
couldn't
got
help but
the
laugh, and I was
inspiration
just
from
like
that.
rolling.
The whole premise of this movie and the plot, it's what it is to push a story forward. So we'll just mention that these nukes are going to be launched unless Tom can get this key and essentially deactivate the whole thing. There are, like you said, a lot of montages. Like the movie kind of opens up kind of like, oh, look at our hero Tom and everything he's done through the other movies, which is pretty
Yeah.
rare. I don't know how often I've seen a movie literally do like a clip show leading up into the start of the movie, which it pretty much does that. But I actually appreciate it. I hear people didn't like it. I think it's polarizing depending how deep you are into Mission Impossible.
I mean, like I said, it's so we've had what we say 8 Mission Impossibles. So how much can the story, really how much variety can the story have for one?
None.
Do you
Because
feel
They're
like
the
I said,
same.
progressively like, okay, the next villain, the next villain, the next villain. Mind you,
yeah.
yeah, we get the same thing with like a James Bond or
I
anything
was just gonna
along
say
those.
how like do you hold the Bond movies to the same
Yeah.
measurement
I
Uh-huh.
then?
think
Yeah.
that the difference is that Bond
Had a video game that was
I don't know,
awesome,
had
and that's
maybe
what
like
drew us all in.
I like had maybe like a little bit more like I don't know.
History?
It's
I
I
mean,
think it's hard because like there's always like a main evil villain and like kind of seeing how they tried to like interconnect all of the Mission Impossible. I don't know. I think it's
I
really
get it.
hard to accomplish that well over 8 films.
Yeah, well, but I think they also like that wasn't always the plan to have this be like 8 cohesive movies that are telling one story. I think over the course of
Yeah.
this movie and the last one, they're like, okay, how can we retcon certain story points in the other movies to get us to here? Is what they do.
Uh,
Um, but I think it was quite enjoyable. I think one of the better moments was our boy Ring. What's his name? Ving Rhames.
oh
Am I
yeah.
getting his name right? Yeah. When Ving has to go down with the ship, he gets locked in this like essentially gets locked into this like prison,
Cell,
pretty
yeah.
much a cell, and he has to
Deactivate the bomb.
deactivate a bomb before it blows up the whole city, essentially. But by him deactivating it,
It's
he's
just gonna blow
toast.
up the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was actually a nice kind of moment if he's gonna go that him and Tom had a lot of like you've been my
Very
right hand
emotional.
man
Yeah.
from the beginning. Probably the most emotional moment of the movie. Is
Mhm.
that
And then they tie it in at the end with letters and stuff. So it was
right?
definitely Ving Rhames provided that emotional trigger for the movie.
Yeah. Outside of that, like we said, the stunts, it's like action on action. Or you get to see Tom in his underwear working out in a shower, fighting in his underwear. Just there's a lot going on.
That's
there.
funny that you like retained those images and that that's what you remember out of all that. That's not what I remembered.
Adrian, you have already offered up your services to read Letterboxd. You can also continue to carry on where the movies took your mind. What stuck out to you? I'm just mentioning what was happening in that sub
So
proceeding on the story there.
what stuck out to me, that sub scene did stand out. But it stood out for a different reason. Like I was like, this is so improbable and unlikely, and
It
this
took you out of it?
yeah, this is really impossible. Like that, even though I was like, wow, this is a really intense and like visually cool scene. It was just like, there's no freaking way. I don't care if you have a decompression machine waiting for you. That there's no way he's making it to the top from that depth, ever. Especially having to rip off his suit. If he had the suit on, maybe I can believe that he's gonna make it to the top. But he has to rip everything off, and it's ice cold water. Like no freaking way. He would have been in
Can
hypothermic
I just
shock.
say
Like
one thing about that? If it were any other actor, I'd agree with you. But Tom
I'm talking about the
Cruise,
reality of it.
I know, and I'm telling you that I would not put it past that Tom Cruise went through like a marine breathing training in order to do this. Like That's how insane.
I'm pretty sure they said that he. I forgot
Navy
what they
SEAL
said,
training.
but like the training he did, but he also held his breath and was under that water at that pressure, where he faced all of that shock and trauma that they were talking about in the movie that
Yeah,
you
like,
would experience.
There's no way. There's no way to
I know
simulate
that's what you.
that.
I know
Like,
that's what you
come on,
think.
guys, come on,
I
really? Like,
know.
come on.
No,
If you're
Adrian.
buying into the propaganda, into the
Adrian.
like, there's
Oh,
That's
here he
no way
goes.
he can simulate going down like a mile underwater and then coming up. Like, there's no
Adrian.
way. You're
Adrian.
talking about NASA, like going
5
up
years.
and faking all these visions on the
Do you
moon and all
not?
these
Do you
pictures.
not remember that Tom Cruise was ready to pay international governments in order to film on the space station? Like, I 5 years ago, I would have agreed with you, Adrian, but this man is
Nuts.
on another level of insane.
Sure, but you can't. I don't even know how to spell gullible, so I don't know. Like, I can't.
I'm and
I'm
5
not
years
just
ago,
believing what they say.
5 years ago, I would have agreed with you, but I mean, I've seen some of the training because he videos all of it. He documents all of his training and stuff.
Listen, end of the day, it's gonna
It's
be
crazy.
just like the protests in LA, Adrian. You thought it was just propaganda till you drove through. So next Mission Impossible movie will get you on a boat,
Listen,
get you
you
on a
already know
plane,
I don't like
get you to
Tom
go
Cruise. I won't
go get you
defend
to
him,
watch
but he
Tom.
crazy. He do that shit.
First off, I ain't even trying to go past 10 feet deep. So
Yeah, well, there you go.
Fair.
There
The
you go.
ocean's scary, dude. I don't
yeah,
blame you.
perfect.
So let's do our. I think we got a good idea of our Commodus Scale, but let's run into that. Thumbs up, even or down for overall what you would give this movie. Erica, where are you going?
Hear me so much. Maybe like here,
Oh,
like
so
not
that's
here, but not here, but like here.
for those just listening. She's at about 1:30 p.m. Yeah, maybe 2 p.m. Maybe 2 p.m. Yeah. So slightly above even. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna write that in our doc.
Like, if you want to see an action movie and you want to see what crazy stunts Tom Cruise is doing in this film, by all means, you're going to have a good time watching this. It's exactly what you would imagine Mission Impossible action film would be. Story-wise, like I said, like you said, Michael, if you're not a fan, if you are a fan of the Mission Impossibles, you might not like it. If you aren't, like I said, just an action film, but not the best, not the worst.
Sure. Adrian, where are you going?
I'll give it a thumbs up. For the
Thumbs up.
nostalgia alone, like, I really, like I said, I had a fun time. Just, I think more because of the nostalgia. Like, I was thinking of my aunt, my uncle, and when I was a kid watching, Mission
Sure.
Impossible, the original. And so, like, I just went in, not expecting a sci-fi thriller. I was just going in expecting a fun movie.
Yeah, I'm going thumbs up also. I came out of the theater really hot on this movie. I think I gave it a 4.5. Maybe it's generous, but again, maybe I've been hanging out with you.
Cruise energy.
Yeah. It's the underwear that got the extra half star. I think it was also just hanging out with you guys, or maybe Adrian, I'll say you specifically, and having the mentality of like a brain off. Like, we hardly really talked about the plot or the first act, the second act, like, because it doesn't really matter. What stood out to this was like the energy, the excitement. It is a long movie, just over 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't feel long because of the pace, but when the slow lull moments that are there, you feel it maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But with all that, I came out having a great time. Like, it was a fun time at the movie theater. You know what I mean? So if you're going just to have fun, if you can still see it in theaters, if you haven't seen it yet and you listen to our spoiler talk, go. I'd say it's worth checking out, especially at a local $5 special.
I don't think we really gave away any spoilers.
Not really. I mean, what is there to spoil? He like
There's
whether he
not.
dies or not.
It's the 8th movie. I don't think you're spoiling anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's story points and they either accomplish them or they don't. The mission's impossible. There's a lot of the bits with the message exploding. Simon Pegg is great. He's
We
got
didn't even talk about him.
Palm Clemente is amazing. I love
Simon.
her.
I mean, he's really consistent in these movies. Simon Pegg, like, he Like he gives some heart and comedy.
I think he should have
In
died
these
though.
movies.
Great
He should have
actor.
died.
Yeah, I think he should have died. I think he should have died maybe
That
the
was
last.
more to the unrealistic of it. Like, although I did like that scene where he was, telling them how to do surgery on him and like remove the bullet and put a straw in so
Right.
that it collapsed lung. Like that was a fun scene, but
This is
very
pretty good.
unrealistic that he survives.
He's a great actor. I love him.
I'm so confused why you're holding Mission Impossible reality to this pedestal compared to
Like I
any
said, I
other
liked it.
crazy.
I'm just saying, like, as I'm watching it, like, and I
This
do this
comes
for
to
a lot of
mind.
movies. It just, it comes to mind, like, yeah, right.
Like
But I'm
Final
not. I
Destination.
enjoyed it. I still liked it.
So
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. And then also you have Haley Atwell, who played Grace, who is like a pickpocket, and she's part of like the plot to save the day because it has to happen in a split. Just
Blink of an
again,
eye. Blink of
Oh,
an eye, Mikey.
a bunch
blink
of
of an
her
eye.
press touring. She like actually knows how to pickpocket people.
Oh,
Like
really?
that's not fake. She said she's like, oh yeah, I've collected a watch, and then in an interview, she has like one of her co-stars like watches and his wallet by the
Go
end
ahead,
of the
Adrian.
interview.
You believe that? It's not a
Yes.
setup for part of the
No.
press?
No,
I
I
did
think
see
she
that
actually.
one, that interview. Like,
I
I think
might
she
have learned
actually, I think she swiped them pretty good.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into our double feature pairing here. What is a movie that you would recommend with this age group? What'd you say?
I
Oh dear.
I originally went with The Rock. It's the Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage movie where he has to go into Alcatraz, and Sean Connery is the only person who's escaped Alcatraz, has to get him into Alcatraz, save the day from some chemical bombs. But after talking about Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise and doing his own stunts and stuff, I'm going a different route, and I'm gonna recommend a 1995 movie called Rumble in the Bronx. Now it's like an English dubbed movie. It's Jackie Chan, but he does all his own stunts. And at the end of the movie, they show him like all the outtakes of him doing these stunts and all the ones that fail. I think he even breaks his leg. Still completes the movie with like a cast and like they painted like a sock, like a boot on. So yeah, I would recommend that because Jackie Chan does a lot of his own stunts, similar to like Tom Cruise, gave you that kind of vibe.
Good call. Good call. I got I don't know if I mentioned this, but I recently bought the like Jackie Chan box set on a Criterion 50% off sale or whatever.
Nice,
I
nice.
remember, yeah.
And what's great about those Jackie Chan movies is he does have like in Rush Hour, like at the end of the movie, he has like the bloopers of him doing
The
these stunts.
outtakes and
Like
stuff. Yeah.
we got to bring that back.
I miss bloopers.
You know what I mean? Like even on Bug's Life, they had bloopers, and it's fucking
Hands down the
And
best
it's
bloopers
perfect.
that
Yeah.
ever exist on the planet.
yeah. It's so great. It's so great. Erica, what are you recommending to pair with Mission Impossible?
I picked the 355. I'm not sure if either of you have seen this. It's Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, Sebastian Stan. There's a bunch of star-studded. There's a lot. It's female-led. But essentially it's these female intelligence agents that from different countries that are all trying to essentially take this piece of technology and get it out of the wrong hands, and it ends up being a couple plot twists in there, a couple like crazy scenes that happen, but kind of like the female side of how intelligence works and how easy it is for women to kind of like sneak through the cracks and figure things out. And
You enjoyed it? It was good?
loved it, but I
Oh, wow.
also I love seeing like females just kick ass in those settings. Like I just
Sure.
love it so much.
Well, I just never had heard of this movie, and it sounds interesting.
I believe it's on
considering
Peacock. You know what? I think you would really enjoy it, Michael.
it is on Peacock. It is on.
It
Peacock.
is on Peacock. Yeah.
Good
Maybe
call.
it came out like 3 years ago.
Yep, 2022. Look at you on it. Directed by Simon Kinberg. You know Simon Kinberg made Dark Phoenix, the X-Men movie. Ooh, that's tough, Erica. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try, but he
Not
made
a
the
superhero
Phoenix.
movie.
Yeah. Well, it has elements. It sounds like.
X-Men has just notoriously been butchered every single time over the year, so.
Well, I can't wait till we get to that episode of our pod because we'll have plenty to talk about then. So I am going to recommend Ip Man, which is about a Thai boxer. Correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian. I'm pretty sure he's
You're wrong.
a Thai. Am I wrong already?
Yeah, Ip Man is the gung fu, the master for Bruce Lee. He like taught Bruce Lee and all that, played by Donnie Yen.
But this,
That's
you know
it.
what? You're right. But what's the movie I'm thinking of then? I got the title wrong.
You did get it wrong. Who were you thinking
You
of?
know, you know what I'm
Bangkok.
talking about.
It's in Thailand. He
It's
was
like he fucks everyone up with his legs.
Tony
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yao is his name or something.
Oh, this isn't funny. Come on. Uh,
Oh my!
I could
I
have
have no
sworn it
idea
was,
what you're talking about.
It takes place
bro.
in Bangkok in Thailand. They like
And he's got like
off
the movie opens with like everyone kind of climbing this tree.
Ong
It's like a
Bak.
race to the top. Ong Bak. Thank you,
Ong
good
Bak.
Sabak.
Yes,
God, why did I
yes.
say Ip Man? Sorry.
I don't know
Well,
why you
hey,
said it, man.
listen.
That's why I was like, Ip Man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, listen, Ip Man's good. But Ong Bak came out in
Mm-hmm.
2003. No computer graphics, no stunt doubles, no wires. This is, again, to Adrian's point, real practical stunts, real martial arts. When you watch, like I was talking about, the opening scene, a bunch of people climb this huge tree, and it's like a battle royale of who can get to the top first, people fighting along the way, and just
Bamboo,
really
right? They're
special.
fighing on bamboo.
Is
Isn't
it
that like?
bamboo?
I think they're
I need to
fighting on
rewatch it.
bamboo.
I might
Yeah.
rewatch it. Take my advice here.
Ong
But I
Bak.
remember just watching that and being like, wow, these stunts, these fights are fucking incredible. Like kind of eye opening. Like the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. So thank you for coming in clutch on the name. I don't know why I thought Ip Man. That Ong Bak. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you can watch either one. Probably a good time. What does that bring us to our draft? We got a draft because this episode is running long. Erica's fallen asleep. We got to get her ready for her next test.
No, I felt bad because I hadn't seen the movie you guys were talking about, so I didn't have anything to contribute.
I mean, I was just saying that as I open up our wheel,
Tony
just kind of
Ya
stall.
he has a few movies now. But he was in a superhero one where he's, oh my goodness, Tony. I'm gonna look it up right now.
I like how you just opened up another rabbit hole of finding what the hell you're talking about. Are you
You were
looking?
thinking rabbit
I'm
hole, and
looking.
I was gonna say wormhole, and I was like, that's not the word I'm
Wormhole.
looking for. No,
I don't think
rabbit hole was right. I was gonna say wormhole, but I was like, wormhole doesn't seem like the right word right
that's
here.
for space. But I mean, to be fair, I think there's an even better word. We're just off it today with we're a little rusty.
I mean, the
I don't know.
rabbit hole.
It just came out where I think Rob Perlman is in this
You're saying
movie.
Tony Jaa is in a new movie, a new Marvel movie?
Yeah, not
He's
Marvel.
in.
It's not Marvel. It's like they're like on a planet and there's like aliens and stuff, like monsters trying to get them.
It's called Monster Hunter.
There you go.
Right? 2020 Monster Hunter.
There you go.
He's the hunter. Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
We landed the plane there.
There we go.
Without further ado, let us go to our wheel of cinema to see who we're drafting from Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Ooh, you didn't say Erica. Here we go. Broke your cycle. Dude, I haven't been first in fucking forever. Adrian.
Let's go.
Is going first. Second is me. Erica's last.
That's okay. I don't think either of you are gonna
take
pick
Simon
who
Pegg.
I'm leaning towards.
Neither of us are gonna take Simon Pegg.
Oh, you think I'm taking Simon Pegg?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, fair enough. Adrian, who would you like to draft from Mission Impossible Final Reckoning?
So there's 3 people I would want to get, but if we're trying to draft stock, I know I've been drafting a lot of people that like I just enjoy, but I guess I should get some stock in people that are going to be in future movies. Man, but I got to stay true to myself, and I'm going to go Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
I really like that dude. I'm going to stick Simon Pegg.
I was gonna
go Angela Bassett. I was gonna go Angela Bassett because she's a big TV star. She's I'm sure she's gonna do more movies, but we're gonna go Simon Pegg.
Solid.
That's awesome. Way to go. Wow. This is what a predicament for me to be in. So since Erica, you get the last pick. You know who else is in this movie? As I'm looking at the cast.
Nope.
No,
Shut
you
up.
gotta take
Shut
your
up.
boy.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Not until I draft. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
I
Shut up.
totally forgot about him.
Shut up.
Erica, how?
No. Bro, I
Speaking
will
of
fly to fucking Portland and strangle your
You
goddamn.
should draft him, Mikey.
from
See, you don't
hold
even know
on.
who the fuck he's
I
from. You don't deserve to draft him. Fuck you. That is
First-
my guy.
Erica,
You know
first of
exactly
all,
who I'm talking about. That's Ron fucking Swanson. Don't you dare fucking draft him.
that's not even who I'm talking about.
Oh,
That's
then don't
not
worry about
even
it.
who I'm talking about.
I don't care who
Calm
you're thinking
down.
about then.
Well, okay, then I'll talk about it. I'm not gonna draft him, but I'm just gonna say he's in this movie for literally like 5 seconds. Do you see Carrie Ells?
Yes.
What the fuck is he doing in this movie for like?
I was like, that's why that was my quote. I was like, where do I know that person from? Like literally, and then when I went to the cast, I was
It's
like,
Wesley.
no way. Yeah.
Wesley, you
Yeah.
know what the fuck? And like literally for 5 seconds, and then
so
he's just
random.
gone. It's so weird.
So random.
Okay, listen, you can have Nick. Listen, Nick is a good pick. He crushed it on Last of Us episode he was on. He's funny and he showed he could be dramatic. Obviously has a future. Should I take him? I don't know.
He was
man.
good in that.
kill
What's
you.
that show? Parks and Recreation.
I'll
Parks and
kill
Rec,
you.
yeah.
He was
Parks
good
and
in
Rec.
that.
Listen, Erica, I almost want to draft it just for an excuse to
I'll put a
finally
hex
have you
on
come
you.
visit, but it's okay. I'd rather not get strangled in my sleep. So I'm gonna go.
By yourself. I'm just gonna put a hex on your own.
No, not enough sage in the world will help you.
Man.
Okay, let me just go through some names. Just Katie O'Brien, who is an up and comer. She played in a movie, Love Lies Bleeding. I don't know if you guys saw that one from last year. Erica, I think you would actually like that movie, Love Lies Bleeding. Check it out. It's a little surreal, a little sci-fi, but also very grounded in like perceptions of sexuality and being a woman and things of that nature. She's really good. She was also in Twisters. I don't like Twisters. I also want to mention, of course, Ving Rhames, who we talked about. I hope he's in good health. They did a great job with him not looking too well. I hope that was just for the role. Okay, I'm either going Tom Cruise or I'm going Angela Bassett. Tom Cruise, I would want to pick because he said he's going to make movies until he dies, which
He's
means
gonna die on the set of Mission Impossible 20.
that's incredible
That's still
payout of my
12. Yeah,
stock.
yeah.
That's 12
I'll
more.
take that 100 to
more of
1
them.
right now.
Yeah. Those are pretty good payout odds. And then you have Angela Bassett, who's just a living legend of an actor, of an actress. Many think got robbed by not winning the Oscar for Wakanda Forever. Or Black Panther. I don't remember which one.
It was for Wakanda Forever, I believe.
I think it might have been Black Panther because Chadwick got robbed. Oh no. Sorry, you're right. Chadwick got robbed for Black Panther, and then Angela for Wakanda Forever. And then if you're taking Nick Offerman, that means you guys are picking all white. I'm taking Angela Bassett. Again, need to make sure that we pick someone that has an incredible acting resume. Should have like 5 Oscars by now, which means she's still hungry for one, which would be a huge payoff for stock. And a woman of color. You know, I love supporting our protected groups. Erica, are you taking Nick?
You know, and then I saw Hannah Waddingham because I forget she's in this fucking movie and
Here
she's
she goes.
just absolutely stunning. But I am gonna pick Nick Offerman. If anybody who knows me knows how much Parks and Rec means to me, the tough times that it kind of took me out of. And he is just like such a staple, such a gentle heart, you know, pro LGBTQ plus, like we love him.
Nick Offerman. This is where
That guy.
Erica gets mad. I haven't seen Parks and Recreation.
You know what? Understandable.
Wow. I thought you were going to come down harder on me.
Understandable. Well, it doesn't seem like it's your type of show.
I like The Office.
There's a hot debate on which show is better between the two. Now, I've seen all of The Office multiple times. I've seen all of Parks and Rec multiple times. I think as a whole and how well-rounded, I think Parks and Rec comes in first. I think that if Steve Carell would have stayed for all of the seasons in The Office, that statement might be different. But as far as like season 8 and 9 go in The Office, it's like
The clips I see from Parks and Rec I think are funny. Like I like that. I don't know if it's a blooper, if it made it on the
I'll tell you if
show
it's a blooper or not.
where what's his name? Chris. What's his
Chris
name?
Traeger?
Pratt.
Is that his
I don't
name?
know.
Chris Pratt?
Wait.
Is that
Oh wait,
Pratt?
are you talking about
The
Rob
actor?
Lowe's character? Or are
No,
you
no, no,
talking
no, no.
the
The actor
actor?
Chris.
Chris
What's
Pratt.
his name? Chris Pratt. Where he's talking about they're talking about a comeback story, and
That is a blooper.
they're listing like $1 Million
Yeah, where
Baby,
you
this,
talk
this,
about
that.
Kim Kardashian.
He's like, yeah, she got cum on her back, right?
That's a blooper.
Everyone loves a good comeback story, right? Seabiscuit, the Mighty Ducks,
Robert Downey Jr. Who
Rocky.
else? Yes.
Kim Kardashian.
Kim. Well,
In the video, she gets cum on her back, I think.
They did not keep that in the show.
Yeah, you get that. I see that shit's hilarious. I think you should have kept that in. That's quick of him. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to the pod. We'll have a fun bonus episode coming for next Friday. We haven't discussed what it's going to be yet, so let's see where the state of our country
when we're gonna
see what the state of our country is at by that point. But nonetheless, follow us on all of our socials. You can get us at Seeing This Pod. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, become a part of our tribe. It really goes a long way to see you guys comment our content, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, wherever. Let us know what you want to see. Adrian wanted to open up a Loveline channel. We're trying to do movie drafts, anniversaries, maybe a first time
I know,
reaction
Goonies
video.
just passed, you guys.
Goonies just passed, a big party up in Astoria, up here in Oregon. So yeah, give us feedback. We want to hear it, good, bad, or indifferent. We've all been hit by a stray here of some negative comments from time to time. But hey, I love it. That means you guys are listening. So thank you for listening. Until next time, stay safe.